Do you find yourself running out of cash just before payday every month, wondering where all the money went and if you're going to make it to next payday? In this video, we're going to be going through how you should budget, why you should budget, and how you can stick to your budget. And I'll be revealing my top 3 tips that can make or break your budget. By the time we're done here, you'll have a much clearer picture of your finances and a much better plan in place, and your path towards financial freedom. But with so many different budgeting methods out there, it can be difficult to know where to start. But before we get into all that, there's one critical thing that we just cannot avoid, and that is a financial audit. Now, you don't need to cast the eye of Sauron over every single penny that you've spent, but get your credit card statements, your bank statements for the last 3 months, preferably the last 6 months, and go through and start grouping your costs together. Group them into groceries, travel, commuting, rental costs, housing costs, all that sort of thing. And this will help you really start to build a picture about not only what money is coming in, but what your big expenses are. And then if we need to, in future, where you can potentially trim some of those down. Then once you've done that, you also want to group your costs into 3 categories: your needs, your wants, and investment and saving. And we'll come back to this later. The first budget is the pay it yourself budget. This has come from Ramit Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And the idea here is really simple. Most people will get paid, pay their bills, they will spend on all their wants, and then they will save or invest whatever's left. His theory puts this completely on its head, which is you get paid, you pay your needs, you keep a roof over your head, you make sure you're fed and watered, but then that's when you choose to save and invest, and basically choosing to have saving and investing as treating it as another bill, and then your wants come last. As we've talked about before on this channel, I find that to be really helpful because they're things that you want to do. You come up with all these kind of crafty ways that you can save money here and there, so that when it comes to actually spending money on things you want to spend on, you're just going to be way more motivated to find those pennies from somewhere. Next is the zero-based budget. Now, it's called a zero-based budget because income minus expenses equals 0. So you're basically giving every single penny you earn a job. This is going to be best for people who have a reasonably fixed income, but also have reasonably fixed expenses as well. But I think it's worth saying that lots of people assume that this is making sure you go out and spend all your money, and that's absolutely not what we're saying here. What we're saying is you might follow the pay it yourself first method, but included in that spend, included in the expenses for the month, are also going to be your saving and your investing bucket. Proponents of this will basically say it discourages you from splurging, it discourages you from impulse purchasing, because you know that all the money you earn is going to have a job already. So this sort of budget suits someone who really wants to be in control of their money, who, as we've said, can say with reasonable certainty what their incomings and what their outgoings are going to be. And it's generally a budget that Dave Ramsey has been a proponent of. And I think there are plenty of apps out there which can track all your spending for you and make it much easier to keep track of all those things. But personally, maybe it's just me, but this budget just doesn't suit me. Having to meticulously comb through every single penny. At the start I said you didn't need to have the eye of Sauron on every single penny. But with this one, you need a forensic accountant, which is almost worse.
He's a forensic accountant.
So this one isn't great for me, and I think we're going to come on to better budgeting method, the envelope system. Now, you don't need to be giving your money to Bernie Madoff for it to quite quickly run out before the end of every month. And whilst adopting this method, your money might be safe from Bernie Madoff, it's not safe from inflation. This is very similar to the zero-based budgeting method, but you put it all into cash, so you stuff cash full of envelopes. So you have this much for your groceries, this much for your car, this much for your rent, all in cash. Again, not a fan of this. I'm not going to spend too long on it because it's got all the downsides of zero-based budgeting, but a whole load of other problems, like you can't accurately track where your money has been because it's not on any apps, and it's a whole lot of hassle and a whole lot of headache. So personally, for me, it's another dud.
The envelope.
The 50-30-20 budget. Now we're talking about practical budgets that have some degree of flexibility in them. So remember earlier when we said to categorize your expenses? So the 50-30 budget rule basically says 50% of your after-tax income should go towards your needs. That's keeping a roof over your head, that's keeping you fed and watered, that's getting you to and from work. Things you actually need, like need. 30% of it goes to your wants. That's your going out, that's your partying, that's your seeing your friends, that's your fun adventures at the weekend. And finally, 20% of it should go towards saving and investing. Now, personally, I think this budget really suits people who are kind of new to budgeting. It's kind of got some degree of flexibility built into it, but one trap that sometimes people fall into is if they've spent 25% of their want allowance for the month, then they'll go out and spend the other 5, even though they don't necessarily have to. So just don't fall into that trap. You could just shift over another 5% into your investment and savings account for that month. Now, this might be a bit more challenging for people who are on lower incomes, where saving and investing 20% of your after-tax income is more hard work. But I think that's kind of the beauty of this budget, is it provides you with a framework, but it's a framework, not a jail cell. So you can sort of, from one month to the next, flex them a little bit. As long as you're trending in this direction, I think it's a really good budget to go with. It provides you with some structure to your finances, but it doesn't turn your structure into a straitjacket. The 80-20 plan. Now, the 80-20 plan I think has some merits. It's very similar to the 50-30-20, but it basically just says 20% of your post-tax income has to go into savings and investments, and whatever happens to the other 80% is whatever. Now, again, it's got some of the benefits of the 50-30-20 in that it's not too restrictive, it's not too constraining, you don't have to track every single penny, you just have to say 20% of this goes into this account, into this ISA, into this Roth IRA, into this pension, blah blah blah, all that sort of thing. And then the other 80% you don't really need to track, frankly, because if you're paid 100, you put 20 away, the balance is what you've got to play with. And one thing I think that really facilitates this, you get paid on a certain day, just put that money in your account straight away in your savings account, and then the rest of it is just money to spend. So it's not just necessarily about having the budget, but it's also some of the things that you can do with the budget. The no budget budget. Now, if we're honest, this is for all the wannabe ballers out there.
Ballers only.
This is, let's call it light touch budgeting. It's keeping an eye on your finances, it's making sure you're not spending too much, it's making sure you're not in your overdraft, but over and above not spending, there's not a whole lot of structure there. You don't dedicate particular percentages or particular amounts to particular jobs. You don't give every dollar a job. And this can be particularly dangerous if you've got a credit card. The inclination can be to just put things on the credit card and let them balances roll over from one month to the next. So for me, this is kind of a bridge too far. My preference is generally the 50-30-20, or it's the 80-20. And the last one is the goals budget. Now, this has aspects that I like, but for me, generally people misuse it and it doesn't suit people for the longer term. So what you do is you set out what your priorities are for that month, that year, that 5-year period, whatever the case may be, and you say, this is going to be my target. I'm going to throw the absolute kitchen sink at everything until I hit this target. Let's say you've got a credit card debt that you want to get down in a year, you pay your needs, and then boom, everything goes to getting rid of that credit card debt. Now, as I say, for the short term, I think this can be super effective. It really keeps you laser focused. You've got pinpoint precision on where your money is going. And if you're following something like Dave Ramsey's baby steps, where you're paying off your high interest debt first, then I think this can actually be a really helpful method. But when you start to get to the longer term stuff, for me, you need a bit more structure. For me personally, you have to have some flex in your budget, but you also have to have some budget in there for having fun. What's the point in going out, working to a 9 to 5, earning money, only to then do out with it? It's just nuts to me. It's like that thing of people who have cheat days are more likely to stick to a diet longer term because they've got something to look forward to every Friday or whatever it may be. So what are my 3 golden tips for making a budget and sticking to it? Well, as I said earlier, my preference generally is the 50-30-20 rule or the 80-20 rule. For me, they bring the right balance of some structure to move towards your financial goals, but they've also got some flex in there for unexpected expenses, but also just for having fun with your money without compromising your longer term objectives. So what are my 3 secrets? The first is track your spending, but not to every penny. Bills that you know are going to be reasonably consistent, make sure they're included in the budget. Your grocery bill, which might change from month to month, make sure you have a reasonably accurate number, but it doesn't have to be down to the penny. If you get to a situation where actually tracking your expenses and tracking your budget is more hard work than it's worth, then I find that people just tend to not stick to them as much. The second thing is to create a budget that works for you. People are at different stages of their life. My budget now might not be the same as my budget in 30 or 40 years when I'm mortgage free and I'm coming up to retirement. So making a budget that really fits around your lifestyle but still facilitates you moving towards your financial goals is just, that's where you want to be. And the third thing is review your budget regularly. It's all very well and good making a budget on January 1st. You say, I'm going to be good with money this year, and then you check into it January 1st next year. That's just nuts stuff. Again, you don't have to check in every single week, but I think generally checking in every month, 2, 3 months even, just to make sure the ship is generally moving in the right direction, is fine. This is the third video in our series about how to save money. In the previous two videos we talked about how to save money and some habits that you can adopt in order to save money on everyday expenses. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next video. Our next video is going to be about financial lessons they don't teach you at school. Thanks very much for watching. This has been another episode of Modern Money Talk, where we talk all things personal finance, personal development related. Comment down below, what budget methods do you use? How do you find it to stick to a budget? Is it something that comes quite naturally to you, or is it something you really have to work on? And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Peace.